All right, so we only have 20 minutes, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking because I want you all to be able to hear from our esteemed guest here. And so we're here to talk about blockchain for good. And so I think the best appropriate question to start with is to ask each of you, how would each of you define blockchain for good, and what excites you about blockchain's potential to have a positive impact on society? So let's start with Congresswoman Kim.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm Congresswoman Young Kim, and I serve on the House Financial Services Committee. It's a really exciting time for me to be on this stage with my colleague, Rep. Amo. How do I define blockchain for good? I define blockchain for good as innovative companies and individuals using blockchain to make our country and the world a better place. History has proven that technological revolutions can uplift communities and increase the economic opportunities. So I want to thank everyone who's attending this conference today for all you have done, because you have really you put us on the edge, and technological revolution to keep us have that ignite the opportunity, economic opportunities. So thank you. That's how I defined blockchain for good.
Cool. And Congressman Amo, a lot of people hear blockchain, they don't know what it means, it sounds scary, but there's a huge potential for blockchain to do a lot of good in the world. And so what excites you about the opportunity that we have?
Well, first off, Kevin, thanks for your leadership and having us here. And of course, it's great to be with my colleague, because in addition to serving on the Financial Services Committee, she is the chairwoman of the subcommittee on East Asia and the Pacific, which I have the honor of privilege of serving on. And this is an opportunity for bipartisanship. We might have different letters next to our name, but we believe in American leadership in the world. And that's what blockchain for good, I believe, has the potential to represent. It's about possibilities. Looking at distributed ledger technology to share and verify American influence as it relates to foreign aid, American foreign policy writ large. We'll talk about some examples, but I see it as a way for us to do what we've always done, which is lead. And I am grateful that I have a great colleague who is up there at the top of the list in this mission to continue American leadership in the technological space.
Awesome. And what I love about that is that you mentioned bipartisanship. And what everybody should know is that both the Congresswoman and the Congressman, they're not just talking it, they're walking the walk. And they actually have a resolution and some legislation that they're working on together. And so, Congresswoman, could you talk a little bit more about that? And the focus of that resolution is on democratic governance and human rights, but there are lots of other examples as well, correct?
Sure. We introduced this as a bipartisan resolution because we recognize that there is a tremendous potential in blockchain to advance our foreign policy goals. As he and I mentioned, serving on the East Asia and the Pacific, we have a lot of partners in the region, and they are sometimes ahead of us. So we want to be able to utilize blockchain to advance our the foreign policy goals, because a lot of people seem to forget that U.S. leadership in emerging technologies like blockchain not only improves the lives of Americans, but it helps us to advance transparency, improve on human rights, and freedom across the globe. So I'm really excited how blockchain can use to improve the foreign assistance process and actually help increase the transparency and in aid distribution, our foreign aid distribution. So I think having more transparent aid distribution will also allow for more secure transfer of funds and allow government to better understand how our foreign aid actually works. Prior to the first question you answered was like, what are some of the blockchain potential? And I wanted to share a couple of, or two or three examples where we can use this in the real estate transactions. If we put, title on the blockchain, imagine how we can secure and protect the title ownership. And so we don't have to worry about how it's going to be stolen, right? In the healthcare areas, if we can put the private sensitive healthcare medical records on blockchain, if you are a subscriber to and have the Kaiser as your healthcare provider, Kaiser only, for now, shares your medical records within the providers who are utilizing Kaiser. But now, if we can expand that and put that information on blockchain, and you decide one day to leave Kaiser and join other provider and care facilities, imagine how quickly your medical information and records can be shared. So those are some of the critical areas where I think I'm so excited about the blockchain potential.
Awesome. And Congressman, why is it important for you to work on these issues in such a bipartisan way? The Congresswoman just did a great job of walking us through some of the very practical uses and impacts that a lot of people still don't quite understand. But what are some of the priorities for you, and why is it important that we do this in a bipartisan way?
Look, I think American leadership in foreign policy, we've said our disputes end at the water's edge. Politically, it should continue. And that comes with the way that we play such a big role in the provision of key aid programs, of key technical assistance. So think about the country of Georgia, where there has traditionally been a lot of challenge around land disputes. To your point, Representative Kim, you think about the ledger technology rooting out corruption, where someone's claim for land doesn't interfere with someone else's claim for land. And you can see with a great amount of transparency the veracity of that argument, and frankly eliminating that as a component of economic disruption and increasing stability and belief in the rule of law in parts of the world. The World Food Program, for example, had a pilot program called Building Blocks, using blockchain technology to monitor aid, to verify recipients. Multiple organizations can be tapped in. And if we're trying to solve public health problems, for example, and are running clean water programs that require certain inputs, whether they are chemicals, whether they are manpower, it's important because we know in the international aid space that a lot of different players are involved, that they have access to the same information and can move quickly, because we're often talking about the provision of life-saving assistance, be it food, shelter, clean water, etc. And that's important to me. I have in my district at home in Rhode Island, have a company that is called Adhesia. It's actually in the state of Rhode Island, not wholly in my district, but they provide nutritional assistance, and that needs to be provided at a certain clip in a certain regular schedule to prevent malnutrition. That's where a distributed ledger technology, where someone sitting in Rhode Island can also check in with distributors and check in with farmers and check in with aid workers, and there's a whole ecosystem of people who have access to information. That's important and powerful.
Awesome. And one of the things I love about the work I get to do at Crypto.com is we do a lot of work in the financial literacy space, helping to support institutions and enhance educational resources focused on digital assets and blockchain technology. One of the things I love to say is that we've already lived through a digital divide in this country. Let's not have a digital assets divide. And so we try to leverage a lot of our partnerships to help do what we can to fill that gap. But along those lines, Congresswoman, how do you see the public and private sector working with Congress to better educate and advocate around a blockchain for good agenda?
Kevin, thanks for asking me that. I currently serve as a co-chair of the Financial Literacy and Wealth Creation Caucus. And one of the things that I would like, I try to do is, one, it's got three mission purpose. One is to educate the members ourselves to better understand that there are different resources and financial tools available. That includes digital, crypto, and what we're talking about, blockchains. In the past, when we started this caucus and we're talking about how do we educate our public, it was about maybe some savings and, understand the difference between CDs and where you can invest your mutual funds, but it's no longer the case. We have to understand that there are changing times brings different mindset on what tools that you can use. So that's what I try to do. And again, we have tremendous innovation capability in the United States. So the goal of what we are doing in Congress is to encourage innovation in the United States that can translate into global opportunity. So again, I want to leave you with a very quick innovation in the United States that can be used globally. And blockchain, and what's next? Tokenization, what's next? Again, having the members understand what we are talking about, and then make sure that the staff that work for those members have an understanding so they can go back and encourage their members to participate not only in our caucus work, but at the same time they can help better educate and represent their constituents. So Kevin, I'm so excited that you are doing this, and I love to work with you, blockchain.com, and maybe we can partner on some of the caucus work in that.
Absolutely, look forward to it. Congressman, how can the public and private sector work together to advance blockchain for good?
Look, I think it's an imperative that the financial literacy we talk about is something that we march into aggressively. We know if we're talking about doing something for good, that means including everybody in the knowledge base of a response to innovation, right? Innovation without people who are tracking that innovation is not very worthwhile. And so, I'm grateful for Congresswoman Kim's leadership in organizing members to get the basics, because oftentimes, and we represent communities that all look a little bit different. We often see, for example, people of color being, the last in on things, and also vulnerable to where the shortcomings of regulations might be. And I think we need predictability, we need stability, we need a real transparency, not just in whatever regulatory frameworks we adopt, but also in how we make sure that people are aware of how to operate in those spaces. And so that, if we're talking about doing something for good, good means everybody knows what's up, right? And everybody knows the rules of the road. And that we all are able to march into the full possibilities of prosperity that this technology may unlock.
Awesome. And so we only got a few minutes left. So the last question I want to do with each of you, and I'll start with you, Congresswoman Kim. I mean, you're a congresswoman, lots of issues that you can take on, no shortage of work that needs to get done. Why blockchain? Like, what made you say, when, I don't know if folks brought blockchain to you or you saw it in your district, but when you saw it, what made you say, that's what I want to work on?
Well, that's the future. And again, we mentioned the goal is to foster innovation in the United States. We need to stay ahead of the game. Our adversaries are winning in this space. So I'm looking at it from the national security perspective as a member who serves on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And I'm speaking from the potential, the tremendous opportunity blockchain can create domestically in the United States. Look, just yesterday, I believe, President Trump issued an executive order about how we need to utilize, new technology in this space. So he definitely understands that it's critical for us to implement the digital payments in the federal government. He understands it at the top. We get it. Not all of us, but some of us try to understand this. It's a very complicated issue. But some of us who serve on the House Financial Services Committee, we recognize it, which is why, I'm so delighted to share with you that just few hours ago, 2-3 hours ago, we introduced the stablecoin legislation. It is truly a bipartisan legislation. Your colleague, Josh Gottheimer, is one of those original authors of that bill. So I'm really excited to be able to move forward in the blockchain opportunity. And blockchain represents one of the solutions that the administration is calling for, and that will allow us to have a more efficient and secure payments. And take, for example, the grant funding. Right? If we can do this, that could be that we can send the the grant payments on the blockchain. You talked about this, Rep. Amo, how quickly we can get this to the recipients, and we also talk about how blockchain could facilitate the movement of the very important funds to overseas as well. I think there is a tremendous opportunity to get into this space, and as I mentioned, as a co-chair of the Financial Literacy and Wealth Creation, I'm going to include this blockchain, cryptocurrency, and all the new 21st century technology words that we are just getting used to and becoming, very familiar with. So don't think that just because we are working on this legislation, we're experts on this. We need partnership. We need the cooperation of industry experts like you to come and continue to have conversation for us. So when we are working on legislation, we can do it informed, educated way. So I'm here to plead with you. Continue to engage the members of Congress.
All right, awesome. And then lastly, Congressman, same question. Busy man, lots that you can do, lots going on in the world. Why blockchain?
Look, why blockchain? It goes back to this old political saying: if you aren't at the table, you're on the menu, and somebody's going to eat. And so the fact of the matter is, for me, as I do an analysis of things that are happening in the world, I can't be immediately oppositional. What I have to do, especially for things that are going to be around as we, I remember back in I've graduated from college in 2010, and so I have a friend who Earl was an early crypto guy, bought a couple houses off of this, and he's been through the boom and bust cycles. And I never understood what he was doing, what he was working on. And I said, well, look, now I'm in Congress. I think I should understand this stuff a little bit more that's gonna affect people. And it is true that not everybody experiences the benefits of innovation equally. And I think we have to create structures where the opportunity exists in as egalitarian a way as possible. And the way that we do that is by increasing our literacy, by sitting with practitioners, by having conversations where sometimes we may not agree, but that we do agree on one thing, and that is progress and the pursuit of that progress. And I do think when you look at distributed ledger technology and you look at its proliferation, it would be a mistake to simply turn it off in my television screen, my spheres of influence. Rather, I want to engage, see how we can grow collectively, and ultimately make sure that the American values that we share are reflected in the technology as it grows and becomes a continued part of our society.
Awesome. Well, we are at time, and I want to commend both of you on two things. Number one, you both did this in exactly 20 minutes, and that is impressive.
That doesn't happen for politicians.
I'm just saying, that is impressive. And the last thing, but certainly last but not least, I want to commend you both for your level of seriousness and commitment to this issue and to the potential that we have, and for your commitment to work on it in a bipartisan way.
Talking about
so
bipartisanship, since Gottheimer and some other Democratic members got on, maybe I can get you to co-sponsor the bill.
I don't sponsor bills I haven't read yet, so that's...
It will truly be bipartisan.
Yes. So thank you both, and thank all of you. Thank you.